gonna go.
Start off with
They like
our-
email me the server like, oh, we found some stuff that you might want to look at, and they're like, it's all yellow, so nothing. I was like, of course it is, but it's of course like tire rotation, and they did like wheel alignment and crap. That was expensive. The wheel alignment was like $300.
Dude, mine was
I
like
was like, why?
our four-wheel alignment through them is only like $89.95.
Oh, it was super good. But no, so I was scrolling through, and I think they had a transmission service. I can't remember how much. I could probably look it up, but they they suggested windshield wiper replacements. Guess how much money they wanted?
$120.
$75 to replace my windshield wipers. I was like, heck no. I was like, I'm gonna go get the $15 ones from Walmart.
Even if you went
Or
to
whatever the
even
crap.
if you went to like the auto parts store and bought the bougie ones,
Dude,
you'd
it
spend
was-
$70, but
It was. I was like, heck no. So yeah, I literally had no for all that crap. I was like, just oil change. But that only took 30 minutes, so I was fine with that.
oh no, I dropped it off last night, and my appointment was for 7:30 this morning.
Hold on, we might not be on. We are not.
Fine.
That's fine. That's not important,
No,
anyways.
it's important.
Just catch up. It's fine.
So my appointment for the car was at 7:30, right, to get the service done. Bro, they called me at 1:00 saying it was done, and I'm like, you took 6 hours to do something for an appointment I had at 7:30 this morning.
Yeah, that craps. It was because it's like the appointments are never actually appointment. It's like they never start you at that time.
Oh yeah, no, I worked in that industry. Trust me, I know. And like we just told people, like, no, you're just gonna drop your car off and you'll get it when you get it. Like, bro, I'm like, even still, like if it was like mom had an appointment for an oil change one Saturday morning, and it was like her free, like one of 3 free first oil change, and everything. Bro, she waited 4 hours for an oil change.
I am gonna move the camera. Keep talking.
But yeah, no.
The car just sucks.
Dude, no, my thing is it's Tower Honda that sucks. Like,
they're not great.
dude, I mean, they literally have the worst reviews out of any dealership around in Longview. Like,
I want to see my legs. Yeah, no, when I was like, that's which luckily, if I can enact my plan like I want with the Bronco and trading up, this will probably be like the last oil change I need in the car.
maybe.
Hopefully, yeah, because I don't drive. Because I mean, literally, like if I'm just going to work, I don't drive a whole lot. Yeah, so hopefully this will be the last oil change anyway. So I was like, yeah, I'm not getting anything extra. I was like, give me the oil change. I was like, I don't care if these tires are bald. I was like, I don't give a crap. I'm not doing it. I didn't have money for it anyway, so I was like, screw that.
Bro, this is, I was just like, I told Emily, I was like, I wanted to do that around, they recommended like, here's my thing, is like, why do they recommend it with such a massive, they recommend it between 30 and 75,000 miles.
Yeah, you peak
and I'm like, just make a number,
which
and
is
not add 45,000 miles.
Is hers? Because I know newer cars go longer, so is hers like the 10,000 mile
oil change?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
Or is
I don't,
it still?
It technically they say just to.
Because
I
think mine is still 5.
They say to do it just whenever it gets to the lower percentage, like at like 10% coming in. But like I've just never done that because a motor costs way too much money for a car that I don't want to keep anyway.
I think I do
it every 5,000.
In the Honda, I did the percent because they kept telling me, which it was Honda, so that makes sense. But they kept telling me, they're like, don't bring it in until it says 15%. Because like in my Civic, which I think you had, you had a newer one than me, so it pings up once it hits 15% oil. It like pings it on the dash.
Yeah.
And so they're like, don't bring it in until because I did it by the first couple times I would do it by the mileage they put on the sticker.
Yeah.
And it was still like 40% oil life. So they were like, don't bring it in until this. I'm gonna do that differently because I'll probably do my own oil changes for the Bronco.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like in my truck, if I can get under there, I'd do it.
And I think because I'm gonna do my own oil changes, I'll probably stick specifically to like 5,000 or whatever they recommend.
Here's my thing is, like I get it, like oil like technology is changing and all that, and like because like they have like Volkswagen recommends it like every 7,500 to 10,000 miles.
Yeah, they go long.
They go long amounts, and like I get it, like, and I've seen like the proof of like, hey, you really don't use the oil consistency till this point, whatever. But I'm like, no, my dad raced me to do it at 5,000. My dad did it at 5,000. I do it at 5,000.
Yeah, Dad still does. Dad does a Challenger at 3.
Yeah. And I'm at 3.
every 3,000 he does it, which
If
I think his was rated for 3,000 to 5,000.
If I had a bougie car, like if I was driving a nice, whatever, like I guess like say a Camaro or a Challenger, like your dad's like, yeah, I would do it probably every 3, because like when you're talking $20,000 for a motor, for some of those things, like depending on how badly you damage
a new motor for him is like as much as the car's worth.
It was for him. I remember how much it cost him to get that rebuilt. It's expensive. I'm like, if I had I'll pay the $100 to get an oil change every 3,000 miles.
Yeah, I'll probably do the Bronco at like 5, but that's because I'm trying to keep it as long. That will be what I try and keep as long as I can.
Yeah,
but.
And like I get it, but for me, like. Specifically with this one, it was a CVT transmission service, and it's like, and like I've worked in the industry, to work on CVT transmissions, and luckily like I didn't have to actually like build them. We just always replaced them because they were garbage, and they get better. They've gotten better, but like it's one of those ones like that's the one service I'll do because like it can. Those are very pricey, $7,000, $8,000 jobs, and I don't even. I'm saying Taylor Honda, they are garbage. Like I get it. Salespeople are supposed to suck up to you anyways, and like because they're trying to sell you a car. So they're like, "You want a water? You want me to what?" And I'm like, but like even still, like I've always gone in there like the last couple times because I bought like 4 cars through them, because I was stupid, and like
you did stick with Honda for.
And I would tell them I want this. And they would bring me exactly that. They wouldn't be like, well, how about you try to look at this? No, like I told them, I was like, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I want my payments at. And they're like, all right, we'll figure it out. And so like they all like the sales department was always great. It was the service department that I have an issue with. Bruh, I remember when like my cup holder broke and I was under factory warranty. I had like 25,000 miles on my car. I have a 3-year 36,000. That's a factory warranty, right? And this is pretty much just a rant at this point. Bro, they wouldn't fix my cup holder. And they wanted $700 to fix it. And I'm like, no, I'm under factory warranty. I'm not paying to fix this. Bruh, I had spilt a little Dr. Pepper in there. The spring, there's like 4 springs in it. I don't know if I ever showed you my cup holders, but they got like 2 levels. So like if you get a big cup, you can push it and then push it down further.
This is the one, your current Emily's car?
Emily's car. And it's like a little trap door and it pops down.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
You can push a button and the springs lock it back up.
Yeah. It's like for different size.
Yeah, like if I have a tall cup or a short cup, I can have it sitting, that high.
Yeah, I think my Civic had that.
Yeah, they're fancy like that. And like it's a really neat feature. Well, one of the springs popped out. And they were like, you spilt sticky stuff in there, and that's why it's not working properly. I'm like, no, it's missing a spring. And they're like, well, do you have the spring? I'm like, no, it got thrown away. Because Donnie and Monica threw it away when they borrowed my car. Shout out to them, pain in the butts. But yeah, like, so like, and I literally was like, okay, can you pull up the diagram of this? So we go over to the parts department and they pull up the diagram of it. And I'm like, okay, so we all agree 1, 2, 3, 4 springs, right guys? 4 springs. And I'm like,
did you do that a lot?
Yes.
Did you pull the I'm a mechanic?
Yes, I did.
Let me.
And me and the service manager got into it. He does not like me. Because I literally
to be fair though, think of our job. I wouldn't like you either if you were coming in trying to tell me like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Because you've said before we have guys. Yeah, we have guys like that.
But
I don't
when
really
I'm
deal with
right,
them.
I'm right.
Yeah.
And so like the parts guy's like, yeah, there's 4 springs right here, and technically you can order just the spring and put the spring in, but we'd have to take that part out and inspect it. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. If it just takes a spring, that's fine, but it's under factory warranty. I'm not paying to fix it. I'm not paying you a single dime. That's why it's called a factory warranty. It should work like factory. And I had to also explain it, and he was like, well, that's for this kind of stuff. I'm like, no, it covers bumper to bumper, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, is that not within the bumpers?
Is the cup holders within bumpers?
Oh, dude, he was like, are you going to come in here raising your voice at me like that tomorrow? I'm like, I might. I'm like, I don't care. I will. And and I finally get there, and like, I'm like, look, you can reach up under here and feel there's a spring here, there's a spring there. This one's popped out. I promise you it came out, and that's why, like, I would stick my cup there, and it would just slowly fall down, right? So it didn't have the support that it needed. Lo and behold, this spring's missing. Bro, I fought with them for like 3 hours over, and like even my service rider guy, his name's Gary. Shout out Gary, not a crap sack, not a complete moron. And he's like, yeah, it's missing a spring. Like I've looked at it, we've looked at it, our parts guys confirmed it. It was just their service manager, and because I guess I was a teenager, I wasn't even a teenager. I was 21, 22, whatever. and like he just did not want to accept my it's not philosophy and it's not opinion. It's because it's a fact. He didn't want to accept my facts. You can tell I still get riled up about
Yeah,
this, man.
you do.
Dude, he makes me so mad. And like,
is he still there? Like, do you
I
still?
have no idea. If he is, I don't ever talk to him.
I was gonna say you don't see him.
He was there the last time I had to actually go in for a recall. I had to go in, get my recall done, and this was when the radio then proceeded to go out of nowhere. Literally days after the recall, it went out. And he saw me, and he just walked away. He didn't say a thing to me.
Probably had your photo up on a wall, be like, "This guy, don't help him."
Yeah, even Gary was like, "Dude, you still even come here?" I'm like, I'm not driving to Tyler to get a freaking transmission service.
Yeah,
done. Y'all can
yeah,
do
that's the hard
exact
part. Is
same
like it's
thing.
the only one around here.
Like I could go to Tyler and like literally.
Is there not one in Kilgore?
No,
I don't know. If
no,
there's
the
a
closest
Honda.
one is Tyler, the next Honda dealership. And so it's like, okay, fine, I'll choke it up and bring it in there. Just do the service that I'm asking. I'm not asking you to, do any work. I'm going to tell you what service I want done. I don't care if you try to sell me stuff. I'm not doing it. Like that's it. It's like, cause I'm like, dude, on the paper it said $38 for the cabin air filter, $50 to change it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they had the cabin air filters on mine, and it was expensive. I was like, that doesn't make. It was like $100-something bucks for
the filter costs like $30.
Yeah.
At the auto parts store. It takes me 2 minutes to go pop off my glove box, pop the cover off, pull the filter out, put the new filter in, close it.
Yeah.
$50 to do that.
Yeah, they charge a lot for, which I get it because like I don't know what we charge for our labor hours by the hour, but it's like that's part of it,
Here's the thing. You can charge an hour for something, and if you're good enough, like if it takes an actual hour, like if it were going to take me an hour, like if I did my oil change, like because their oil change is like $80, right? I'm like, okay, that makes sense, $30-$40 for the oil change, $40 for labor and stuff, like. Okay, $80. That makes about sense. Because like I was like, you know what? I'm probably gonna look at doing it myself. It was $50-something bucks for the oil stuff alone, just 4 quarts of oil and an oil filter for Emily's car. And I'm like,
oil's
okay.
getting expensive.
And like,
too.
if I'm paying $50, I could just go down to this shop and they'll do it for $65. That $15 is worth me not crawling.
Yeah, not having to do it.
But like this service specifically, I can't. It requires a special machine unless you want to because how you have to drain it out, you have to actually suck the fluid out, and I get it. I have to take it into a dealership or a place.
Why does it require that?
It's the type of transmission it is, like the valve body doesn't allow certain amounts.
So don't get that.
Yeah, don't buy a Honda. Don't go to Honda Power Honda.
My question, so you said it earlier, you brought it back up, and this, have you always, when you go in, because oh my God, I'm bald. Look at my hairline.
I won't disagree.
You've bought a lot of cars in your day. You've definitely doubled, maybe tripled me as far as buying, because technically I've only bought one.
Are we including the motorcycle?
Oh, okay, too. Yeah, we'll include the motorcycle too.
Yeah.
Because that was like an actual dealer experience basically. I've only bought 2, the motorcycle and I mean both I got. I personally think that I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
As far as the deal, because now I'm like my dad trained me basically. Like he trained me early on, even well before I ever bought cars, because he'd tell me, hey, like don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. And his biggest thing was always, he's like, don't just go in there and say, hey, I want to pay this a month. So they'll make it happen. It's like and like the funniest thing was like I lived with Christian, who was that. He went in and was like, hey, I want this brand new Mustang. I want to only pay this much. He's like, and they did it.
Oh yeah, 108 month loan, something like that.
Yeah, well, they gave him. I can't remember what the loan was, but it was he had a 25% interest rate.
Oh.
He had a 20. It was 24 or 25, but
dude,
regardless,
I could put stuff on credit card and have less
interest
rate.
I know. That was the first thing my dad said. My dad was like, credit cards aren't even that high. I was like, I know. That was his first Mustang. And then he went for that like maybe a year. During that year, I think he had engine issues, which wasn't his fault. Like it was like it was a pre-owned.
Yeah.
It was not a brand new Mustang. It was pre-owned. But it was dealership pre-owned. So it was certified.
Yeah.
So the engine issues were the dealer's issues. because it was like literally within a year he had issue. So he literally had the Mustang in the shop for like 2 months. Well, he just didn't pay those payments for those 2 months. He deferred them because they had those. You know how they have those programs where you can like defer to the very end of your term. Yeah, he just deferred them because he's like, well, I'm not driving this, so I'm not gonna pay it. I'm like, that's not how it works.
No, it's not.
So then, shortly after that, he trades in the Mustang to get his truck. Again, a 24%, 23 or 24%. It wasn't much better than the Mustang. I don't remember how much that was on, but then he went like a year and then got refinanced, got it down to 10%.
Okay.
But at the time, like later, like because
Did he have any credit whatsoever?
we talked about it later. I think he told me and Christian or me and Clay when we were down. He said it was like a 540 or 550 right now. He got the truck repoed. He literally just stopped paying on it because the transmission. He claims that the transmission was going out, and it might have been the truck because he had been hauling his pressure washing stuff for like his detail service. So it was like wrecking his suspension and all kinds of stuff under the truck. So it probably was having issues. But he was like, yeah, I decided to. I was like, I wasn't gonna get it fixed, so I just said I'm not gonna pay it. And so he basically was like, I know they're gonna eventually take it, but he literally was like, I walked out one day and it was just gone. I was like, oh my god. His escapades of vehicles are.
That's horrendous.
You thought yours were bad when you were 19. His were way worse.
And here's the thing, mine were. I've never had higher than a 6.7%.
That was that was kind of my question. What did you go in? Were you mentally like, I want to stay under? Because I know you weren't dumb enough, even though you like upgraded cars when you probably shouldn't have and went upside down and stuff like that. I still know you weren't dumb enough to be like, I just want to pay this a month to get me in it.
Dude, it looks like I have horrible pit stains on them.
So like, were you questioning like, did you have a overall price in mind, like an out the door price in mind, or were an interest rate in mind?
No, I with what?
With whatever,
Okay,
anytime you went in, because I always keep the same mentality
I always
basically.
kept in like, pretty much like I knew what I could spend. And like,
as far as a month,
when I paid for the Honda Type R, when I was paying for that one, right, the bougiest car I've ever owned, I was paying
that's a lot.
$803 a month on that car.
Was that insurance too, or just the car?
That was just the car and everything. My parents paid for my insurance.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. $803, and that was being upside down. Around 8
because you had the Civic first.
I had the Civic SI for like maybe 6 months, maybe.
Yeah, you didn't have it a year.
Yeah, and so like, and if I had waited a year and probably paid on it a little bit more, I probably wouldn't have been as bad of a shape I was in. But like when I bought the Civic SI, I had like a 4 or 5% interest rate. Like I've never had. My truck right now has the highest interest rate I've ever had, and I've had the best credit I have in my life, and that's so it's not like I'm. Like,
that's a lot of the market, though.
Yeah, it's the market. It's not like I have horrible credit like Christian. They're like, dude, if they were like, 25% interest rate, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna go home.
Yeah, just walk out.
I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, his mentality was always, I am leaving with this car, and so that always like out the gate he was done.
Yeah, no,
because he couldn't just walk away.
And like honestly, in reality, like I wish my parents would have been like, you should not buy the Type R, you know? Or like in all honesty, you shouldn't have bought,
or just kept the SI. You shouldn't have
bought the SI. Like and been honest with me and like, hey, look, you make this amount of money, because like almost at that point I was using like 60% of my paycheck, you know, to pay for a car.
But I mean you were still living with your parents.
I was still living with my parents.
So you didn't have like rent. You didn't have stuff like that.
And to be honest, had I known I was about to get the raise I got eventually, but by the time I got rid of that car, I wouldn't have got rid of it. I just kept paying for it, you know, because I'd have been making considerably more money, you know, and everything. So it's just like, but you know, in all honesty, I didn't need a car that could do that. I didn't need, because I spent so much money on tires. I put 20,000. I don't think I went over. I think I had ended up trading that car in at like 24,000 miles or something. I had 3 sets of tires on that car.
On the Type R. God.
I would destroy those tires, dude. I drove that thing literally like it was stolen.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad times on that one.
And so like it was just like.
So you just always went in knowing
like
I
knew,
can spend this much a month, but
Yeah.
you weren't like, give me this for this
Nope.
amount a month. You
Nope.
were just like, if I hear the right interest rate, if I hear the right
if you give me
full price,
yeah,
kind of stuff like that.
Because like whenever they told me like, because like I was paying like 500 something a month for the Civic Si on a 4% interest rate, and the interest rate was actually going to go down to 3.5.
Did you
on the Type R.
co-sign for the SI, or did you do it yourself? Because 4% is not bad at all for your
I think
first.
I co-signed for that one, but I put the Type R completely in my name, and that's
That's
and it went down.
it's easy. Well, it's because you had your
Yeah.
first one. Like, that's what it doesn't make any sense to me, because it's like they're like, oh, it's your very first loan, so you're not gonna have a good interest rate. You can take that car, trade it in less than a year later, and get a way better, just because you
Right.
have the proof of you've had your first.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, 6 months ago I was the same person.
Right.
It's like, just give me the
Like,
interest rate the first
same dude
time.
making the same amount of
Yeah,
money.
it's like, give me the good interest rate the first time, because
Right.
you know, like, which I
Yeah.
get it, but
And so like for me, it was never like I walked into a place. Like my thing is, they called me and they're like, "Hey, you mentioned about the Type R. We got one in."
yeah.
And like, had I known, like, if they would have been like, "Hey, in 6 months we might have one of these," like, give us some time, I'd have kept driving my blue Dodge that I had.
Oh, same.
Yeah, 100% would have just kept it. But they're in it to make money.
Yeah, it may well, and that wasn't the issue for me. Like, I pre-ordered a Bronco.
Yeah, I
back
remember.
in 21.
When
This
they
was
first came
the
out.
first year they started making them. I was like, this is awesome. I love this thing. It looks like the G-Wagon, which was my favorite car ever, like my dream vehicle.
box
The
seat.
Bronco is basically the redneck version of it. So I was like, this is what I want. I said this, like, that was why I was like, dude, screw it. I was like, I got nothing to lose. It's a free pre-order. I said, I know, and online they were like, hey, we're back. This was chip crisis time. They're like, we're
Yeah.
backed up. It'll be at least a year. So they're like, if you pre-order now, it's at least a year. I said, cool. I got nowhere to be. Like,
Yeah.
I'll still probably be at DBU, but I'll be looking to leave, so I'll hopefully be making a little more money. So I pre-ordered it. Obviously, then I left, because I think that was my last semester as a grad student. So I left DBU. I knew I was leaving. So I was like, oh, I'll definitely be making more money, whatever. So then I had the Lemon for a little bit, which I didn't ever drive that because I couldn't, basically.
Yeah.
So then I basically had the truck down in Dallas for 4 or 5 months, I think. I bought something because, one, I was making good money, so I was like, I can afford to buy a car.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Winter's about to hit. The truck ain't got no heat. It ain't got no air, but it definitely ain't got no heat. I was like, I don't want to drive this during the winter. I was like, let me just go ahead and get a car. It's a good time. It's the end of the year. They're doing their sales and stuff like that. I was like, let me just go grab a car. And so I looked at, like, that was why I got the Kia. 3 months after I got the Kia, they're like, hey, your Bronco's in. I was like, if I would have known
Yeah.
3 months down the line my Bronco would be ready, like, here, because it was I customed it. I wasn't like boot. It was base model.
Just have a few little add-ons.
Yeah, it was base model 2-door. The only add-ons I remember had was the color specifically.
Yeah.
It was that blue gray, kind of like what my car is now. The blue gray, which was an add-on, and then like a tow hitch. That was the add-ons I had, but it was like specific to mine. If I would have known that was 3 months down the line, I absolutely would have sucked it up in the truck through that winter.
Yeah.
Because I would have been happy. I would have been in the car that I wanted to keep for as long as I could. Like, I would have been set. But
Yeah.
I always try and go in with, I never be like, oh, I want to pay this a month. I never do that.
But it, like,
I always go in, I do like calculations beforehand. I'll do like the online calculators where I'll do full price and I do the interest rate that I kind of want to sit around.
Yeah. And
see,
honestly,
can I afford that a month? If not, okay, let's go lower or higher, whatever I need to do.
For me, like, when we bought the truck, we had sold Emily's car to my parents, and so we had a little bit of cash, for a down payment. And really, like, in all honesty, like, some days we look at it like, man, we wish we would have kept the car, not had a car payment, been able to save up, the extra $400 that we're spending on the truck, and so it's like, that'd been nice. But at the same time, it's also like, eventually we were going to do it, pull the trigger at some point, and like, it just happened to be like around the price range we needed and around the price per month that we were like realistically like, okay, it was more along the lines of, it was like, what are we willing to lose putting into savings each month? Because I mean, eventually I was going to buy a truck.
Miss Dad's car.
Yeah, I heard it. It sounds so good. So it's like, I was willing to lose it. We were willing to spend it, and like, insurance was a whole other ordeal that we dealt with afterwards, you know, and so it's like.
And usually, if you already have a policy, which
I did not.
Yeah.
Because,
so you had to add one.
Yeah, I had to. I just bit the bullet and did me and Emily's at the same time. Like we had been married for a little while because I guess it was been married about 6 months. It was October-ish, I think, when I got the truck. So we'd been married about 6 months, I think. And it was like, well, I mean, she's my wife. I should be paying for insurance. And because her parents were paying for the insurance on her car that was that we just sold. And we got approval to sell it and everything. They're like, that's y'all's car. You choose what you want to do. And so it's like, okay, well, if I'm willing to take on a truck payment, I need to be willing to pay our insurance. And we knew it was also going to be, about 7-8 months till Emily had a job and was working again. And so we're T-minus 2.5 months, man. So ready, dude. So ready.
Just don't blow it all.
Oh no, I'm blowing it. I will find. I'm not gonna blow it on anything stupid.
But I mean, I was just she's lucked out and got a good starting job.
And we knew, like I said, when we went in this time for buying a vehicle, when I went to buy the last vehicle, it was like, what deal can I wiggle out and make out for both me and Faith the best option?
Yeah.
Because I had that Accord, and honestly, had they worked the same deal with the same payments on both vehicles, I probably would have just done that and kept the Accord because I liked the Accord. It was really nice.
That was a nice that was a nice downgrade from your Type R, basically.
It was
because that's like the equivalent to what mine is, kind of like that mid tier.
Yeah, it had all the fancy little gizmos, gadgets, remote start, the adaptive cruise. It had pretty much everything my truck has, just new. Yeah, and so it's like that, and like I said, looking back, I kind of wish I kept it, because now I've got the HRV, and we don't hate it. We just know it's not what we're gonna keep forever. Yeah, the only reason we're gonna keep it is if it doesn't affect us to keep it. By the time we're ready to buy a bigger vehicle for our family, which again, years down the road. So it's realistically, as of right now.
Well, how much longer do you have on that loan anyway?
I have no idea. I'm just
because I feel like you've had that thing for a hot minute.
It's only been 2 years.
I thought it was way longer than that.
No, I'm pretty sure it's only been 2 years. It hasn't even been 2 years, I think. No, it's been 2.5 years.
Yeah, I thought you were at least 3.
It'll be 3 years in October.
I mean, you're definitely over the hump.
Yeah, and realistically, we owe less on that car than we do on the truck. Yeah. And like I said, we bought the truck kind of at not the best time, and so it's
But again, you can't. The market's just not in the best. It's getting better.
It was one of the nicest trucks I had seen. When I was looking, I wanted a GMC. I wanted a GMC Denali. That's what I wanted.
God, yeah.
I wanted it with the 5.3 or the 6.2 in it, and I wasn't looking for brand new either. I was talking I'm looking back at 2012, 2010, 2010 up. So we're already talking, 10 plus years old. Dude, I could not find a single one less than 30,000 that didn't have over 200,000 miles on it. It was nuts. And then, lo and behold, I get it. It's a Ford. They're mass-produced. But so is GM. They're all mass-produced. So it's they're all going to have their issues at some point. But I was like, okay, this is actually kind of within my price range. And so then I went and test drove it. And I'm like, okay, this isn't bad. Because, and I'm not a diehard, I will only drive GM or I will only... I don't care. I'll drive whatever I can drive as long as I can afford it and it gets me to point A to point B. And
and nowadays... Back in the day, it used to be... There were specific, there were standout things that made Dodge better or GM better. Or
and realistically
nowadays, everything is pretty much on par with each other.
If you want a bougie truck, your Platinum, your Denali's, your Limited.
Yeah, they're all gonna be pretty on par.
Yeah,
there's no
the same fancy stuff.
Upside or downside to one or the other.
It's pretty much brand and how you feel about them. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I could go into the specifics on the side of oh yeah, Dodge's motor does this. Oh yeah, whatever. I could do that, but I'm also really, it's all about the same. I have my preference. Again, I still would love to be in a nice GMC Denali, like Chris has, but I got a little ways to go before I can get there.
That's why I do think when I do the Bronco, I'm going to go manual. I think I'm going to go back to manual. One, because the 10-speed transmissions, the automatics that they offer you, have a lot of issues, apparently. Since they started pumping them back out a couple years ago. Yeah. So you can get it in the standard is a manual really? For all the Broncos. It's you have to, which obviously is more. It's always been more to pay for automatic, but you have to specify I want the automatic, not the manual. I hear it. He lets it hum for
It sounds so good.
Yeah, he lets it like warm up for like 10 minutes usually.
That's how you know he's a true car person.
But yeah, like if you just go like pre-order, click, if you don't like actually go in and select automatic, it'll set you up default as a manual.
Did not know that.
But the 10-speed, it's a 10-speed automatic, and for the last couple of years, there's been a lot of recalls on them. They've had a lot of issues, and so like even my buddy was like, "Are you going manual?" I was like, "I think so," and he's like, "Good." He's like,
Are you
he's
talking
like,
about what's his name?
Gavin. He was the other one. Me and him pre-ordered. Well, he was really thinking about pre-ordering it when I pre-ordered mine.
Yeah.
But he just didn't. Cause he has a 4Runner, and he's the die-hard Toyota 4Runner kind of person. But yeah, he was like, yeah, you better go manual. I was like, I'm thinking about it. Cause like over here, I don't have issues with manual. I had issues with manual in the city because it's the city.
Yeah.
It gets annoying, having to constantly fight traffic and stuff like that.
To be honest, if it were me, I'd probably go even with the issues, I'd probably just go automatic. Honestly.
One, it'll save me a little bit of money. Two, I do miss driving stick. Like,
I don't.
I thought about that. I even thought about that when I lived with Christian and Clay in Arlington, because
You were driving the truck.
yeah, I was driving the truck for most of that time, and I was like, I do kind of miss this. Like, obviously, the traffic was the worst part about it, but again, it's like over here, I don't deal with traffic.
Yeah, the traffic over here isn't that bad.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, like, there's no such thing as traffic over here.
No.
If you live in a city and you come to East, like, yeah, like even over in Tyler, I don't consider any of that crap traffic. It's not traffic until you crawl 5 feet every 2 minutes for an hour and a half. You're not in traffic. That's not traffic. Like you deal with heavy traffic in Dallas, and when you have to constantly thread a clutch from first and second and then stop because you can only go 5 feet in front of you, that's when it gets irritating.
Oh yeah, I remember I have never sat an hour and a half. The longest I sat was probably 45 minutes when I took the Thai car over there one day.
Yeah.
And I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, it's trash. But like over here, you don't deal with it. So I do think I am going to go back to manual because also it was like one, I miss it. Two, deal with traffic. But three, it's like it'll save me a little bit of money because it's like probably about $2,000 cheaper to go manual than it is automatic. Which that's pretty much the case. Always been the case because when we were looking at the Civic, mine, I told Dad I want a stick, and he was like, "Good, it saves you like $3,000." But yeah, so that's always been the case. But yeah, so it'll save me a little bit of money anyway. But yeah, I just kind of miss it. But yeah, if you want to keep ranting about the world and the corruptness of money and all that crap, it's one of my topics. Well, kind of one of my topics. So
how far are we into this?
I don't even know.
We're already at 30 minutes.
So we can cut it out. We can finish
cut
after
it and
this.
We'll do another one.
Yeah, we can finish after this because this is like a kind of short topic anyway.
Yeah.
So, streaming services have started down the path, and they've already like introduced plans that are going to be happening over the next year, maybe two.
Yeah.
They're bundling together. So like Disney Plus is one of the big ones doing it.
Yeah,
they're
already doing it.
So they already own a bunch of crap, and like they bought Hulu
Disney
and they did the
just
bundle.
half the world,
They did the bundle with Hulu and ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Like that was like the first initiation. Well, now they're doing it with, I think Disney Plus is doing it with maybe Paramount Plus and then another big one, and they're bundling all. And they're gonna be more expensive to get all of them, obviously. But literally, someone made a video about it, and they're like, "What does that sound like?" Cable. You buy packages of channels, like that's what I'm like. One, I called it like 2 years ago. As soon as Disney bought up Hulu, and then did their Hulu Plus bundle thing, I was like, eventually. Someone, Netflix or Disney, is going to own all of them, and you have to pay $120 a month to get all the different services to all channels.
I wonder if
there's no difference.
I feel like they'll still probably have options, though.
You'll be able to pick. It'll be the same because you can do Disney Plus, or you can do Disney Plus and Hulu, or you can do Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. It's like the $12, $20, or $30 a month.
Dude,
it'll be that. The only but I mean, like, cable does that. Cable allows you to buy like certain packages. The only difference will be that you can actually watch something whenever you want, rather than the programmed.
And like honestly, I don't know why people even still pay for cable. To be honest,
we do, but it's because sports. That's pretty much the only reason we do.
But even still, like, if you wanted to, eventually, like, you could buy it. And hopefully, like you said, coming up, once they actually fix the blackout and stuff, because, like, that is so stupid.
Well, they just got to get away from Bally. Yeah, Bally Sports was the whole reason for that. And, again, they got sued last year, so I know, like, the Rangers and Mavs and Stars who are on Bally right now, they're all getting away from them next year. I don't know who they're going to go to, but
here's my thing: is like it just blows my mind that like a Texas team you can't watch in Texas when the Texas team plays.
It originated originally because even before like Bally Sports took them over, they still did blackout stuff like that because it was basically the main push for people to stay on cable. Yeah. It was like, oh, if you want to catch a local game, you need to watch your local cable kind of thing. It was a push. Within Bally was like, oh, we're just going to monopolize Texas sports because they owned them. And they're like, unless you own the Bally app, which is like $30 a month, it's stupid. They're like, you can't watch it. So hopefully they go. I'm honestly hoping they just go to like let ESPN have the rights or something. I don't know. Like just let something generic have the rights. That way you can watch them on different stuff.
Yeah.
Because like baseball would be tough. MLB TV is $30 a month.
Jeez. I
did it last year, and I still couldn't watch Ranger games, so I canceled it because you have to have the Bally Sports Network. It was all kinds of trash.
Like right now, because even for me and Emily, because you can't use other people's Netflix anymore. Like,
yeah, they cut that out.
Right, and so
I had to get my own. I couldn't even use Haley's.
Bro, it's $23 a month. To watch it without ads or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they introduced the no ads thing. I don't know if I pay for that or not.
And so it's like... I
would assume I do, because I don't think I have ads on my Netflix.
But I'm like, man, which granted, we pay for Hulu also. So, with Hulu and Netflix alone, I'm paying $50 a month. And I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous already.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like and again, it's like they're gonna start because eventually Netflix is gonna do the same thing that Disney's doing.
Yeah, they're gonna try.
They're gonna start.
They're gonna get the off-brand.
They're gonna try.
Everybody's gonna want to be with Disney.
Yeah, so, they're gonna have to basically pick what Disney's not trying to go after or something like that.
We have
basically.
Tubi TV or something. But
but eventually, I know eventually it's gonna Netflix. They're gonna have basically 6 to 7 different ones, and you can pay. Do you want all of them? Do you want certain ones or what?
See, eventually,
subscriptions are gonna be $100 a month at some point because you have 4, 5, or 6 different.
Pretty much, if I had Hulu, Netflix, and Disney Plus, I'd be okay.
That's pretty much all we have. We have Peacock too for The Office.
Peacock is nice because it's got some TV shows.
We literally only have it for The Office.
Yeah,
that's it.
But even still, I'd be okay to not watch Parks and Rec or The Office and stuff like that. I'd be okay.
I think the one that I would get rid of. So YouTube TV is the one that I would legit.
Oh, I used to pay for YouTube Premium.
So do you know the YouTube TV?
Yeah.
It's $60 a month,
yeah.
But it literally has everything because it's essentially just live TV.
Yeah.
But you can it's live TV, so anything that's on TV you can watch it on that, which is basically everything Disney, everything Hulu, everything Peacock, Office. But then you can also go in and search specific shows.
Yeah.
And watch them whenever you want. So that literally is kind of the best of the both worlds. So in my opinion, if they start getting crazy with this stuff and you're paying $30, $40, $50 for 3 to 4 different ones, I might just switch over to YouTube TV because I know I can get pretty much everything, and I can get sports on YouTube TV.
Yeah,
pretty much almost every sport on YouTube TV. So
and for me, it's along the lines of I don't really care what subscriptions I have. I mean, in all honesty, I don't watch nearly as much TV. Emily will watch more TV than I will because right now she gets off in the summer, so she's got 3 months to sit at the house. Oh yeah. So she today she literally she watched a show called Farmer Wants a Wife or something like that. Dude, she's all about those reality TV shows.
Oh, it's reality. I was like, what the crap is that?
Reality it's TV? Where literally these girls go live on the farm with the dude that's wanting to find somebody to marry, and he takes them all out on dates.
So it's like FarmersOnly.com.
Yeah,
but just a TV show.
Pretty much picture The Bachelor, but
farmer. Yeah. Okay.
And so she loves those shows, and I could care less. But she's literally I just had it on today while I was doing housework. She's like, I almost finished the first season. I'm like, how many episodes? She's like, there's like 8.
Yeah, that.
And they ain't short episodes. They're like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah,
episodes.
I try and bide my time with like TV and video games, but I mean, I watch TV a lot. But also, a lot of that is because I don't have my PC here, so like, I only have the few games on my PlayStation, and some of them you're just like, I'm gonna get bored of it. But
I mean,
all right, I say we call this episode because
that.
my next topic is kind of along the lines of video games, so we'll be in the next.
All right.
I think that was a longer episode.
We pretty much just ranted.
Yeah, it was a lot of ranting.
Have fun listening.
Yeah, 40 minutes.